Hello, everybody, and welcome to the White Hatter YouTube News Show. I'm Brandon.
And I'm Darren.
Let's get quickly
Hey,
into...
before we do that.
What?
These are kind of new.
Oh, yeah, we got some new tools.
What are they?
We got some Shure SM7Bs in the studio now.
Ooh, that's a big mouthful. Like, these things are... Because prior to doing this, we just used our lapel mics, right, to do that. But we decided to... Let's bump it up a notch and let's use these professional studio. I kind of feel like you're probably too young to remember the show, but there used to be a TV show called WKRP in Cincinnati. I kind of feel like the old style news. Hi, Darren with CKDA here. Anyways, just thought it's kind of cool.
Yes, cool. We're trying some new microphones.
What's special about these?
So they're designed to really isolate audio within this field of speaking. So it's meant to isolate you from the rest of the surroundings. I mean, before you might with the lapels is that your audio kind of came over onto my audio.
Yeah, it did.
Because we're so close to each other.
Yeah.
So this will hopefully help identify that. And there's a pop filter and all that stuff. So
what's a pop filter?
It prevents plosives. So when
prevents what?
Plosives.
What's a plosive?
A plosive is when you make P's and sounds like puh. Okay. Yeah, on microphones, that really pops and hits the capsule really loudly. So these help kind of reduce those plosives.
Yeah, so this is going to get some getting used to, because with a lapel mic, you could move anywhere, but you have to stay within a specific cone specific to these mics, right?
True, but you're going to get better audio from the space that you're in.
Cool, right on.
Yeah, so we'll be getting used to these. Mm-hmm. Maybe make a podcast out of this now.
Maybe draw little faces on it. Maybe put some stickers on there or something. I don't know. We'll figure it out. Looking forward to it.
You can put a white hat sticker right there or something.
Yeah. Oh, that'd be cool. Like a white hat sticker, right? Yeah. I kind of like that.
Let's get into a quick update from us. First update is we are in the summertime, which means we tend to do little extra projects here and there. And what you're going to be doing on Tuesdays is Facebook Live events.
Yeah, we're probably not going to do it every Facebook Live, because we got a couple things going on, right? Like, God, oh my, I got a lot of things swirling around in my mind right now. We're going to try every Tuesday night to do a Facebook Live, and it's only going to be 30 minutes, and the first 10 to 15 minutes is going to be specific to social media issues that parents and teens should be aware of that happened that week. So it's kind of like this show, but it's more focused on parents, right? Rather than this show is more global in nature. And then the last 15 minutes, we're going to open it up to Q&A for everybody who follows us on Facebook, which is kind of cool, because any questions that you have specific to digital literacy, cyber safety, security, now's the time to ask those questions. And we're going to be using a different broadcasting platform than what we're using here, right? Because
more plug and play, not a 3-camera setup like we have here.
And the reason is I wanted to do it kind of by myself, because you're so busy right now. In order to operate what we're doing here in the studio
by yourself,
I know.
Expect technical difficulties.
No technical difficulties. I was practicing using it this weekend. Like you say, it's kind of like a plug and play, which is kind of cool. So this boomer should be able to make it work, but it's not going to have any graphics, kind of like what we do in this show. It's just going to kind of be there's going to be some overlays that I've designed. Kind of cool, actually. I can't believe I did it, but I did. I learned a new skill this weekend, which is kind of cool. You know, you can teach an old dog new tricks. But it's going to be mostly a talking one, and I've decided for the first show I'm going to talk about this thing called juvenoia and moral panic, because this weekend my blood was boiling over some of the issues.
I saw some hot tweets.
Yes, right. Like, so we're going to
follow us on Twitter if you want to follow that.
Yeah, do that. So we're going to be talking about some things surrounding juvenoia and parents and what parents need to understand, because that should be really a starting point. And then we're going to open up to Q&A. And for any of you who have questions, and maybe you don't want to ask us questions on the live show live, you can send them to us via Facebook. Like, I just got 2 questions sent to me today that they want answered on tomorrow's live show, and we're going to do that. So I'm looking forward to it. It's only going to be 30 minutes, so it's a 30-minute hit, kind of like what we do right now. But it's something new. It's something that parents have been kind of asking us for, and you convinced me that video is the way to go. Right? That's why we created the Virtual White Hatter Studio. And I wanted to be able to do it without bringing you in to give you more time, right? So although it would be cool to use everything that we have here in the studio and do what we do here, you need time to do some other stuff. So I just basically wanted to plug and play, and I found something. I gave it to you to have a look at, and you went, yeah, it'll probably work for you, no problem. And even this boomer can make it work.
Cool.
Yeah, cool.
Let's get into some
Tomorrow,
topics.
6:30
this
Pacific
show,
Standard Time.
Well, this show is going to go on Wednesday. So.
No. The Facebook Live tomorrow.
Yes, but people won't see this until Wednesday, most likely.
This show right now?
Yes.
Yeah, but I'm talking about the Facebook Live show tomorrow that I'm doing tomorrow night.
Yes.
That starts at 6:30. It's live.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But this show goes out on Wednesday, so it'll be the next Tuesday.
Yeah.
Do you get that? Do you understand what's going on?
No. I don't. Help.
Moving on.
Let's go.
Let's talk about some news topics. What kind of doo-doo was that?
I'm still kind of trying to figure out what just happened there. Like the Facebook Live event I'm doing tomorrow will be going live tomorrow at 6:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time to 7 p.m.
Yeah, but when people watch this, it would have already happened.
Oh, now I get it. Boing! I get it now. I get it.
So it will be the next Tuesday.
Yeah. Okay, I get it. Okay, in the news. In the news.
First news topic is Amazon rolls out encryption for Ring doorbells. So,
hey, Bezos is going up into space tomorrow. It's tomorrow.
Yeah?
Yeah, it's tomorrow. He goes up in the giant spacecraft.
When people watch this, it would have already happened.
Oh, yeah, right. I forgot that, right? So, but he's going up in this spacecraft that looks like a phallic symbol. I'm not going to say what type, but that's what it looks like. Anyways, what's going on with this one?
Amazon rolls out end-to-end encryption. So we have talked about Amazon's Ring doorbells extensively in the last year and a half.
We have.
Various privacy issues, security issues. And if you didn't know, when you back up your videos into the cloud storage, they're unencrypted. Anyone on Amazon can see it. And servers
including the overlord.
Yes, and you know, Patriot Act, U.S. servers, all that stuff. So now Amazon is rolling out end-to-end encryption. So what that means is when you store your videos, now this is opt-in. It's not by default. You have to, as a customer of Ring, go in and set this up.
Again, they should make it the other way around, right? Like, why not make it a go-to thing and then leave it up to the customer to opt out?
Yeah, well, no, they do that for their neighborhood, their neighbors.
Well, they should do it for this too, right?
So how it works is basically when you upload your videos for backup and storage, not even Amazon can see the videos, which means only you who have the password, known as the encryption key, only you have access to log in and view and access the videos, and you can share them with law enforcement upon your explicit approval.
Okay, now there was kind of some issues surrounding this thing in Zoom and Blue Jeans and some of the others last year where they said it was encrypted, but employees could still see it on their end. So is there a difference? Like, what's going on here?
Yeah, when you talk about encryption, there's two types of encryptions. You got your in-transit encryption, which is normally your HTTPS websites.
MOUSE.
So any data that you are searching on the web that goes through the web from your computer to the end website is encrypted, so people on your network can't spoof and spy on what you're doing. Gotcha. In theory. Now, and there are workarounds and whatnot, but that's like high-level hacking stuff.
Right.
So when you're looking at end-to-end encryption, that means on your computer, the data is getting encrypted, and then it reaches its end website or final destination, it's also encrypted. Okay. So a lot of companies will say, oh, we use encryption. Right. Yeah, but only one kind of encryption. For best security, for best privacy, you need both types of encryptions.
So with these changes, this could be a viable option now, right? Like we were a little hesitant. You know, we've talked about this in a variety of other shows. But with this new addition, it kind of makes it more of an option where you know that what you're doing is going to be encrypted. Right?
We have talked about being worrisome as a consumer opting into the Amazon Ring doorbell, but now that there's end-to-end encryption, I have nothing inherently bad against this.
I mean, you know, when these things first started to come out, we read all about the stories where people would drive neighborhoods and they would intercept the Wi-Fi, right, of these things being broadcast. You know, this should help overcome that. But again, I think what Amazon should be doing with this is make it on by default and then leaving it to the user to turn it off you turn it off. So on by default, turn it off, right, by the user. That's what they should be doing,
Yes.
but they're doing it the opposite.
Yeah,
way.
so if you have a Ring doorbell, you do have to update your app to the latest version, which is fine. Just update your
When's
app.
this supposed to happen, or has it happened?
It's being rolled out, I believe now. It's starting in the U.S. and then starting today. So at the time of the article, which was July 13th, and it should be going worldwide, hopefully within the near future.
Just in time for Bezos to go into space.
You know, there's a petition for him not to come back.
Really?
Yeah, there's an online petition saying don't let him back on Earth.
Cool.
Anyways,
And you know, the other interesting thing is the fight between them and Virgin, right? Like with the Virgin owner last week going up into space the first time, and now, you know, Bezos and his team going, well, he really didn't make it into space. We're going to go higher. So truly, we were in space and he wasn't, right? It's kind of like this battle of the social media overlord titans, right? Anyways.
billionaires.
Yeah, billionaires.
Nothing better to do.
Did you see the yacht that he's building, by the way?
Yes.
It's not a yacht. It's a ship.
You know that there's a support yacht to go with the yacht?
That's just unbelievable,
I
right?
know.
So, you know, with everything else that's going on in the world, right? Like, oh God. Anyways.
Moving on. Next topic. By fooling a webcam, hackers were able to get past Windows Hello.
Okay, so like Windows Hello, like Hello Siri,
No.
you know,
No.
No?
Windows Hello is Windows' answer to Apple's Face ID.
Oh, okay.
So
Do they use lasers?
no. So here's where the issue was discovered. So Windows Hello is designed to be a highly scalable solution for like companies, offices, where you plug in a webcam. So almost any webcam is compatible with this, and it uses mathematics and visual imagery in order to scan your face to use it as a login.
Because I know on Apple with their iPhone, they basically use lasers, right? LiDAR basically to measure your face, right? And
Yes.
so if you're using any plug and play camera, they don't allow you to do that, right? So in other words,
not an iPhone at least.
yeah.
So, but on Windows is a little different for you plug in a camera, which is good. Now, not every camera, but many cameras are compatible. So what researchers were able to do is webcams were now identified as the weakest point because you can plug in any webcam.
Gotcha.
So generally webcams, how the article explained it, is that webcams, they use infrared sensors and conventional RGB technology in order to produce its image. Well, Windows Hello recognition only doesn't look at RGB data. So it only uses one data set. And the researchers discovered that by using a single straight-on infrared image of a target's face, the person who owns the computer, and a black frame, they were able to open the person's computer that was protected by Windows Hello.
Okay.
Now, Windows said they fixed the issue, and full details on this exploit will be announced at the Black Hatter Security Conference in Vegas later this year.
Well, we'll know if it's been fixed then, right? Once it gets to the conference to see if they did it again. But so is this really a big deal for most regular people?
Probably not.
Where would this become an issue? I think I know where this may become an issue.
If you are working professional, you hold sensitive data on your computer, maybe you work for a government or some
and
sort
using
of...
facial recognition or biotechnology to unlock the device.
Yeah, and you mentioned it earlier before the show, how people, in the early days of trying to break this technology, they 3D print someone's face.
Yeah.
And I mean, again, high level, high security situations, but I think what's really key here is that they were able to identify the weakest link, which was any webcam, and manipulate that, because Apple kind of controls its source from manufacturing to implementation.
Right.
It can, you can't plug in another camera on your
It's a closed
iPad.
environment, right?
Exactly. So,
Well, you can plug in another camera into an iPad if you want.
but you can't really use. I don't think you can use that as your Face ID.
No, you can't.
Yeah, you can plug in a camera, but you can't use it as Face ID.
Yeah.
So interesting to kind of discuss here. Yeah.
Interesting.
Next article. D-Link, which is a
Big company.
networking brand, issues a hotfix for hard-coded passwords on one of their routers, the Smart AC 3000 high-powered Wi-Fi tri-band gigabit mesh router.
Okay, so
Okay.
Before you go on, maybe explain to some people who may be watching who aren't aware, and we got to make that assumption. What is a router?
So a router is generally that thing that plugs into your internet that has those little antennas. May not, but
This thing looks like a spider.
I know, the high powered gigabit mesh. Yeah. So this particular one. So if you have this, keep note. If not, some things to take away from his. there was an issue where basically there were hard-coded passwords on the router. So that's what basically provides internet through your household via wireless or plug-in cable.
Gotcha.
And you may not realize this, but your routers are computers.
I was about to say, like, it's a piece of hardware that also has software, but really it's like a miniaturized computer, right?
Basically, yeah. It's the computer that interprets all the internet connections going into and out of your household.
Okay.
And so it's actually a really important piece of equipment in your household, your business.
Especially from a security standpoint, right?
Exactly. So there was a hard code password found. It was not properly set up, where attackers were able to bypass authentication logins, kind of take control of it, kind of in a way. So a fix has been sent. If you've enabled automatic updates, it should be fixed already. But, you might want to check your routers. If you have an older router in your household, you probably want to check to make sure it's updated, it's running the latest software, because if not, those have been identified as a really accessible point into people's households if not secured properly.
So I love when we talk about this. I always ask you the question, because what is the teachable moment here? What is the lesson to be learned?
The lesson is, understand your routers are computers and they need updates much like regular computers. So if you have a router, make sure you've enabled automatic updates.
How do you know?
You have to log in. So it can get a little technical for those people who may not be aware. You have to go into your web browser and type in. It's in the manual.
Right.
All that information is in the manual.
I think you can also go to D-Link, if I'm not mistaken, and they've got some tutorials there as well. Or if you just go into YouTube and just Google that. I mean, just go. You can learn everything.
Most of their login procedures are the same.
Yeah.
But it is also in the manual. So, and if you have an old router, that may not be supported anymore. You may not have the latest security updates.
Okay.
So that's the takeaway for that one.
Yeah, good. Yeah, and almost everybody has a router now, right? Like Wi-Fi routers. And D-Link is probably one of the biggest brands out there. So again, something to be aware of, right?
Yeah, and it's just this one router in particular, not other ones. It's this one router in particular.
Right.
But it's a good case story to highlight how routers are very important parts of your network.
Yeah. What else we got going?
Last topic today is Kaspersky
Kaspersky
names scammers' favorite messaging apps. And this was spawned because of earlier surveys and reports this year indicating that messaging apps,
very popular,
iMessage, Snapchat, are overtaking social media by about 20% right now, where those are becoming the primary method people want to talk to each other with. Okay,
so that's what I was just going to ask you. So what you're saying then is, instead of people just communicating on social media apps, Instagram, Snapchat, that kind of stuff, they're now more moving to messaging type apps.
Yeah, and I think that's because they're more intimate in nature,
right,
where, on social media, you can comment on people's posts and share posts, but that's all public, and it kind of becomes impersonal, where you're using a messaging app that you are directly talking with somebody else.
Okay.
So
makes sense.
Kaspersky, using their systems and their antivirus solutions on Android phones, were able to collect some data on
what phones?
Android phones.
What phones? Android. Why?
Androids are the most vulnerable to this. And this research is a part of promoting their service because, as they stated, Kaspersky Internet Security for Android has added features for safe messaging that prevents users from opening malicious links that they receive in messaging apps, including WhatsApp, Viber, Telegram, Hangouts, or SMS.
Yeah.
So, there is a reason why they did this research, but to be fair, they're not wrong.
Yeah. I mean, we're asked this all the time, right? Like, we believe in putting malware protection onto PCs, desktops, Mac computers as well, because Macs are vulnerable. So we often get asked, what about phones? And so one of the things that we say for the Android platforms is we do recommend malware protection on the Android platform.
And it may not cost, if you pay for antivirus malware on your home computer, you probably already get their mobile version for free at not an extra cost.
And then people say, well, what about iPhones?
iPhones are not they're not quite like computers.
Yes.
An Android smartphone is more like a computer. iOS, so iPads, iPhones, are the only odd ones out because Apple is extremely controlling over its mobile devices.
Yeah, it's what's commonly known as sandboxed, right?
Yeah, you actually have a lot more power in your iPhone than Apple actually gives you access to.
Yeah.
But because they restrict it, antivirus can't work on it. But on the same thought length, what did I just say? On the same wavelength, malware makes it very difficult to work on that as well.
Yeah, so we say for Android phones, absolutely. Like you say, a lot of the Android, like a good example, we use Bitdefender on our products, and Bitdefender has a mobile app as well that comes with their subscriptions.
Except all our phones are Apple anyways.
Yes, they are, right? But if it's an iPhone or iPad, we recommend to our clients, like, there's no need to get that malware protection on those devices.
Doesn't do anything anyways.
I know it doesn't, right? So yeah, not a big deal. So what's the takeaway here then?
Well, what do you think is the most common app that scammers are targeting for fake messages and links?
Well, whatever the most popular one is. So obviously it's WhatsApp.
Yeah, WhatsApp. WhatsApp at 89% was the primary app being targeted, followed by Telegram at 5.6%, and Viper was 4.7%. Yeah. So that's kind of the layout. So WhatsApp, again, being the most popular, makes sense. That's the app where most scams are happening.
Interesting. All right.
So takeaway here would be
Android phones, put malware protection on your phones.
Yeah, and don't click links from people in apps you don't trust.
Yeah, and just understand that as soon as you hit that send button, it can still be, even with this software in place, that whatever you're sending can become public, permanent, searchable, exploitable, copyable, shareable, and sometimes for sale, right? The message that we overshare.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
And that's the show.
Yeah. Cool. This is the second show since we took the 2 weeks off. Piece of new equipment. Testing this out, using it. I'm kind of excited to see what it sounds like and what it does, and just getting used to that we don't have to do this all the time. Like we can.
Well, you can do this, but it's called proximity effect.
Yeah. You know, I go, hey, how you doing?
We're not doing ASMR.
Yeah, that's what it's called. ASMR stuff is what people use these mics to do, that kind of stuff. We're not doing that, but that's what these kind of mics, a lot of people do that, use these types of mics. So these things are kind of cool that way, right? And are these industry standard type of mics, or are they kind of...
Yeah, I mean, you'll see, I guess, Joe Rogan's podcast use these.
Whatever.
A lot of news radio shows use these. These mics have been around since 19-something.
And why did we decide to go with the a base rather? Because you see a lot of people using the articulating arms.
Well, I mean, you can see the table's not that long.
Yeah.
So I think if we had an arm, it would have to be further out.
Yeah, and then we would have these things in our face, right? Like at least this way we don't have stuff.
If we had a longer table, I think we might go with an arm because you can get it as a lower profile.
Oh.
The closer the arm is, the more it's in frame.
I don't think this is bad.
It's not bad. It works well.
It worked well.
So it'll be fun to play with these as the show goes on.
Yeah, for sure. So great show. Good show. I mean, we've been working hard. We hired a new person. Here's Citrine. We call him, he's known as online as Citrine. So if you haven't checked out his YouTube channel, you should see what he does with Lego, right? Like, it's just amazing. And he's doing a lot of our graphic work and editing work.
Yeah.
So we've done that.
For our summer projects.
Yeah, for one of, notice he said projects with an S.
A lot of projects.
Because we got a lot of things going on. Looking forward to the Facebook Live. Looking forward to the Thinkable Thursday interviews that we're doing as well. And then you've got some other things on the go to get ready for the new school year as well, right? Doing some stuff there with the video and issues surrounding there. Using the new equipment. I understand the jib. You now got the laser in place. We got a laser.
Yeah, there's a laser in place now for the jib.
Like, well, what's the laser do?
It tracks targets. Sounds like a missile.
Fox 1, right? Fox 1. So that's kind of cool. We kind of got this. We got this now on the jib and that kind of stuff. So pretty cool. What's going on here? I mean, this is a broadcasting studio. That's what it is. Like when I go to CTV to do a news interview and I walk into their studio, we're basically doing the same thing. Pretty cool.
Yeah.
It's interesting. I've seen some people, I love doing research online all the time, as you know. And there's been quite a few people talking about the fact that, they're actually looking forward to going back into schools and organizations to speak because, I mean, there's no doubt doing live presentations face-to-face is the best way to go, right? And they were frustrated over...
I don't know about that.
I know, and that's my...
I don't know about that.
I know.
There are things you can do virtually, doing live presentations, using broadcasting, that you just can't do in person.
I know. And see, and those people who are saying that, a lot of them are using platforms, I won't mention them, but some may start with a Z, that just weren't designed to be production type of events, right? So, we decided that if we were going to do this, we're going to do it right, or at least you did, and that's why we created the studio. And, the feedback that we've gotten from teachers and other businesses is they're just blown away by the quality and the production value that we have and how we're able to hold their attention, right? So, I love in-school presentations because you get to feed off the energy of the audience. There's still that face-to-face con. But you know what? I'm kind of digging this virtual thing right now, right? I really am. So
there's just too many benefits than negatives.
Yeah, Absolutely. It's cheaper for the organization bringing us in because now they don't have to pay for flights, accommodation.
You can do many schools at the same time.
We can.
Remote learners. Replayability features. Zoom in graphics, green screen work.
Teachers are saying they like it better because the cohorts and classes are smaller, which now allows students to ask more questions because they're now not afraid of, when we were doing the big gyms. I mean, I was in one presentation where I had like 2,200 high school students in one gym in the U.S. It was fantastic, right? But, lower grade students are hesitant about asking a question because they're afraid of what their peers in the older grades are going to say about them, right? So the teachers are saying that kind of removes this as well. The other thing that they've said that was a huge benefit was that once the presentation was done, because the kids were already in the classrooms, it allowed teachers to carry on with discussions on topics that we talked about. So in fact, teachers said to us, they were supposed to move into social studies or math or whatever it is, but instead they continued on with discussions about what it is that we spoke about. So it's kind of cool. I'm kind of digging what's going on right now and the future. I think we'll still offer a hybrid approach, right? Like, because, if a customer wants us to come in, we're going to do that. But, I'm following this D variant, right? The COVID D variant and seeing what's going on. I still don't think we're going to be back into schools until 2023 is what I'm thinking.
I think 2022.
You think?
Probably.
So next year.
Probably.
I think it comes down to what goes on with this D variant and other variants that are going on. Right now in the U.S., they're finding with a lot of the summer school that are going on in camps, a lot of them are now shutting down because of the spread of the new D variant, right? So it's going to be very interesting, right? But again, even if COVID wasn't an issue, would we get rid of doing what we're doing digitally? No. Right? And, I listened to another presenter say that, you just don't get the feel for the community doing it virtually. Oh, what? Like, what do you mean, right? And that's because that individual wasn't using a full production. They were basically using a Z event where they were sitting in front of a green screen, a boring green screen, as a talking head, right, without anything else. Well, yeah, I get it, but when you're doing an actual production value, I mean, that's what it's all about. Again, credit to you for doing that, right?
That's the goal.
Looking forward to seeing what the end of the summer is going to bring to us as well. So, on that note, I'm Darren.
I'm Brandon. Thank you all so much, and we'll see you again on the next show.
Nice, Mike. Bye, everybody.
Bye.